Welcome, dear friends. Man is made of circumstances. This is what all psychologists say unanimously. But as a multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary teacher, I would like to add still more 2 points, 2 factors. There, environment and education, apart from circumstances. So, here, why I have added is in my research analysis, what I have observed is this. As an interdisciplinary postgraduate, MA English Literature, MSc Psychology, Sociology, and MA Philosophy, and apart from educational degrees, 4 degrees, that is B.Ed, M.Ed, PG Diploma in Higher Education, and PG Diploma in Counseling Psychology, and MSc Educational Psychology from state and central universities, and at the same time PhD interdisciplinary from SV University. These are my research observations and practical according to the principle of fidelity and action research I am presenting here. So what is the personality and how the man's personality will be influenced or decided? See, everything is about attitude. Attitude is everything. This is what psychologists unanimously say. That means everything depends upon attitude. By that attitude, some persons will be atheist, some persons will be atheists. See, for example, Agni Nageswar Rao is a great atheist, not believer in God. Whereas his own bosom friend, Tekavara Subramanian Reddy, is a pakka theist, a strong believer, strong faith in God. In the same way, some people are optimistic, a strong hope, looking everything from a brighter side of life, and some people will be pessimists. Everything dark side of life, they will be looking out. Some are submissive, whereas some people are aggressive. Some people have very good mental order, but some people will have mental disorders like narcissism, bipolar, schizophrenia, like so many disorders. Why? Because of the influence of circumstance, environment, and education. First, I would like to take education before explaining circumstances and the environment, because education is a very crucial one. It has both a positive and also negative dimension. See, education is not an ordinary thing. It is a very challenging enterprise, as almost all educationists say. A challenging enterprise, because it will make the intellectuals still more intellectuals. It will make the stupids, fools, still more fools, still more foolish, because of this education. So we have to be very careful while studying, while pursuing some education or the other. And that is the reason why Albert Einstein says that my education has become a great hurdle to my learning, he said. Ooh, when I was reading this, I was really taken aback. What is this? Yes, education will make, and that too, suppose a highly educated MA PhD or MSc PhD or MTech PhD and all that. Instead of see what is expected of an educated person? Generally, we expect that educated person will have the mental maturity, intellectual maturity, physical maturity, mental, spiritual maturity, and all that. Apart from the subject depth, values, and life skills. So these are the educational virtues that every educated person must possess. But most of the people, largely, at large, most of the people will be tinged with arrogance or narrow-mindedness, egoism, tend to be egoistic, selfish, narrow-minded, like that. Moreover, negative interests at the same time. This is the way how people will be influenced by education in a negative way. All will not have the positive dimension. That depends upon the luck, that depends upon the circumstance and environment. See, for example, in my case, I have a very good circumstances, a very good environment, educational environment, neighboring environment. Because of, by the virtue of my father's job in TTD, Tirupati Devasthana, my complete education was carried out in Tirupati. That is a religious institution from school, college onwards to PhD. So automatically I have framed some philosophical frame of mind also at the same time, and most likely even our teachers, our mentors during the college and also university are very great. Professor Nageswar Rao and Professor Ram Sharma, all these are really blessed teachers, very great teachers, highly influential teachers we have got. And most likely after completion of my MA English in 1984, I made my debut into teaching profession in Vignan institutions, Guntur, where luckily I got a great mentor, a great educationist, Dr. Rataya, L. Rataya, chairman of the institution. He's not only he has been a great educationist, a great teacher, and a great thinker, and above all, a teacher, a very influential teacher educator at the same time. Actually, when I made my debut into the college, say along with Dr. Amarendra, senior lecturer, and me, both worked together there, and he was handling classes, English classes. My duty was only to observe his classes and sitting silent, and afterwards, whenever any class was at leisure, I used to handle that class, that's all, sitting side. But I could not sit idle in the classroom. When the students asked me to explain some story or the other, I just burst into emotion and taught the toughest subject, that is Thomas Hardy's The Greatest Novel, Jude the Obscure. Very interesting. The main theme is intellectual aspirations. That is the main theme of that novel. I explained it in a sterling fashion. Dr. Rataya, the chairman of the institution, observed standing at some corner, a nearby window. After having observed, he was very much impressed, and immediately the next day he gave me classes. I was handling classes, and apart from that, of course, he recognized the innate talent, the fire in my belly. That is the thing. That's why I made a reference to that. And apart from that, we learnt so many things from him. See, while he was observing, after having observed the classroom situation, the very next day in the staff meeting, he used to give number of suggestions, pieces of advice. See, why when you're writing, some teachers, while writing on the board, always looking at the board, it means that you are giving scope to the students to indulge in some chit-chat or the mischief or the other. So you have to look at the board just for a few seconds, 5 or 5 seconds. For every 4 or 5 seconds, just have a look at the student's back. So that is the way. And another thing, still I remember, another thing is you must develop a very emotional attachment, very good interaction with the students by calling them or talking to them with their names. Mr. Arvind, come here. I have taken food. How are you? Hey, Ramesh, come here. What about your studies? Are you studying well? I have taken food. What about food in the hostel? Like that, have a very good attachment with the students, emotional attachment, good interaction. That is what is needed. I like that number of things, not 1, 2, 3 like that about regarding. As a man and as a teacher, we were molded in a sterling way by our great mentor, Dr. L. Rataya. I can say very proudly, like that. All people can't have that kind of temperament and that kind of lucky genre, of course, during studies and also during the profession. But most of the people, in my observation, 70 to 80% of the people will be badly influenced by the study, by education. Why? As said by Albert Einstein, that true learning is lacking. Yeah. True learning, if there is a true learning, we will be positively influenced by education. If there is no true learning, only blind education, rote learning, automatically one will turn to be egoistic, one will turn to be narrow-minded, a great threat to the society. And now let's come to the important aspect, that is a life skill. So life skill must be nurtured by our education, by our profession. That is a good personality. If you have been blessed with that life skill, definitely you will have the inner harmony, domestic harmony. By having that one excellent domestic harmony, you will have the inner harmony. See, first of all, you must be successful at your house, a domestic that is called domestic harmony, with your family members, parents, brothers, sisters, and all that. Yes, luckily I have been successful in that matter. Even today, I don't go to picture or any celebration or even cinema theater without my wife. She must accompany me wherever I go, and wherever I work, any institution, I must definitely stay with my wife only. Okay, that domestic harmony, if you are able to be successful there, definitely you will have the inner harmony, and from that inner harmony, a very good personality you can acquire. So now I shall take some 4 or 5 persons as a sample, random sampling from the society. How the persons will be influenced, the personality of the persons will be influenced by these factors like circumstances, environment, and education. So in my case, circumstances, environment, and education, these have molded me in a positive sense, so that I can develop a very good personality, so that I can have the bliss and inner harmony and serenity and tranquility, the ultimate aim of life. And now we shall take some 2 or 4 or 5 persons from as a random sampling. First, we shall take a priest, one priest who is working in a temple. Suppose a priest is a theist, Paka theist, optimist also at the same time. Theist will be generally optimist, and he is earning a lot in the temple by worshipping, by doing rituals and all that, archanas, everything, always depending upon that a very good big temple, earning a lot, and domestically well, financially well, sound, no problem, theist, we can say. So his personality is in a positive dimension, submissive, happy, peaceful, optimistic, and theist. You take another example from a very another priest in a small temple where he has no very good financial sources. Financial crunch he has been facing. He could not meet with that meager amount. He could not meet the family expenditure on that. All that he suffers a lot. Then he criticizes the God. He criticizes even the very God in the temple. Not only that man. Even you take the first example. First is priest. Suppose he has been dethroned from that temple. He was thrown out. Living in a small temple, some corner, financial crunch and all that. He will be blaming the God, having lost faith in God. He turns to be atheist because of the circumstances. Just because of circumstances, not your environment, education here, circumstances. And let us take another example, a student career. A student who has been educated in NIT or from IIT or some reputed institution with great aspiration, intellectual aspiration and professional aspiration, he has been trying his best to get a good appointment, to be appointed in a very good institution, organization. But to his dismay and to the dismay of his parents, he could not get. I have seen a number of students who studied in NIT and some other reputed institutions. They could not get a job for even 30,000 or 40,000. Some of my friends who studied there in NIT and other great institutions, they have been working in Hyderabad and Vijayawada for 15,000 and 17,000 to one's dismay. Yeah, what a fate it is. Then he turns to be pessimistic. What is this education and all that? Because the professors, the institutions will be giving a full marks, good marks, whatever mark you want, whether they have the subject knowledge or not, in-depth subject or not, a good presentation, good oral skills and all that, life skills, they don't see all these things. Giving marks, sending them out, and these students with flying colors, they will be coming out, and with the bad colors, they will be sitting idle at the house. So they turn to be pessimistic, atheists. Okay, let's take positive side. Some other student, he has got very good appointment in organization, 50 or 70,000 or 80,000 rupees he is getting, working very well there. But to his frustration, to his depression, he faced the music there. He has been facing some problems, complications. Maybe because of jealousy, prejudice, because he is a hard worker and he has been sagacious and dexterous in his profession, highly talented. And some of the employees, co-employees, colleagues cannot tolerate. They will create a lot of problems, complications, so that he leaves the institution putting namaskaram. So there are such a type of situations also I have observed in my practical life. Also I have observed, but instead of facing the music, instead of facing the trouble, after observing for 2 or 3 years, I simply escape from the scene by saying namaste, without uttering any negative or without entering into conflict. That's my personality. So, inner harmony, enjoying the peace, serenity and tranquility is the only resort to me. I don't give a criteria to no importance to money and reputation and all that. I don't want that. Okay, some employees will be like that. And let us take another example from a housewife. Last example. Some housewife I have observed in my practical life. One housewife, she lived with her husband very happily, blessed with 2 small sons. And husband is also looking after very well. And they had a domestic conjugal life, blissful life and everything. But in the course of time, after some time, after 2 or 3 years, what happened in their family is this. The husband was given to bad ways. That means liquor and some other love affair outside and all that. Financial crunch automatically. That is the consequence. Financial crunch and troubles, some domestic disharmony occurred. And for these petty things, immediately she burst into emotions. Because law is attempting, law is instigating. And moreover, the environment, see, that is the circumstance. And the environment, she is a very pious woman, a chastity woman with a great chastity. To my surprise, she turned to be something negative character. Because of the circumstance, one thing, and environment, because just nearby a neighbor, one beautiful girl, at the age of 19, she had live-in relationship she has with some other person. And this side, another woman, married woman, she is maintaining some illicit contact with some other person, though husband is there in the house itself. And they used to say, that is the environment, bad environment. What is this? No problem. This is Lalita. What is this? Why? No problem. And husband is like that. Why can't we too go and have some other hand? That means another paramour. Why can't? Law is encouraging. She says. When the 2 women said in such a way to this woman, this virtuous woman, who was first virtuous, optimistic, and who was very good, turned to be negative, turned to be a degraded woman because of the circumstance and the environment of these 2 women. They instigated, and okay, no problem, law is encouraging, a living relationship is not a sin, not a crime, and at the same time, this extramarital relationship is also not, we have a right, we have freedom. Article 14, 19, 21 are there. They will be protecting us. See, the environment and circumstances have made her turn to be something negative, aggressive, a pessimistic girl. Like that, it will be the circumstances, environment and education. These 3 will definitely make any person turn to be either very good or bad, theist or atheist, submissive or aggressive. Sometimes very good mental order, sometimes very bad mental order, that is a mental disorder. The long and short of the matter here is education, first of all, because all are educated nowadays. Education, the impact of education should be in a positive way, not in a negative way, as said by Albert Einstein. To conclude, I say that why most of the educated people have turned to be some narrow or some egoistic or self-centered, having lost all the virtues, educational virtues like maturity of intellectual maturity, spiritual maturity, subject depth, values, and life skills, and all these virtues. Why they have lost all these things? Just because of parents and teachers. He says, Albert Einstein says, he's not a mere physicist, he is an educationist, he's a philosopher, a great thinker above all. What he says is, teachers and parents are cheating the children. How? By making them deprived of the beauty of life. See, there are beauties of life, so many beauties of life in this world, apart from education. If you want to be shrined in education, first of all, you must enjoy the beauties of life, fine arts, music, painting, art, dance, and the different beauties of nature in this world. A river, a brook, a sea, hills, estates, woods. Oh, so many beauties of nature. So these are denied to the students, bluntly denied to our children. So teachers and parents are cheating, betraying, a sort of betrayal, of course. A blind education is being imparted to them in the place of these things. See, education. And on the parallel line, see, on one side education, that is academic excellence must be there. On the other side, the enjoyment of the beauties of life, which I have now referred to. Then only there will be a symmetrical development of the total human personality. Otherwise, partial. Otherwise, a defective personality. This is what Albert Einstein says. Thank you very much, because I have taken a lot of time. Thank you very much. And if you are impressed, please subscribe and encourage me. Right?